Lucy Miller. I am one of the librarians at Arlington High School.
And hello, I'm Michelle Berner. I am one of the librarians at Arlington High School.
Okay. So our first question is, can you explain the policy in your own words?
We are very happy to have students come into the library. We were finding that we were getting students that were coming to after-school library without much work to do. It was becoming more of a social time, which is great, but was also a challenge for students who really wanted to get their work done and needed help, our help with reference materials and needed the time and the space to concentrate. So Mrs. Miller and I talked very much, had a lot of discussions as to how we can address the needs of most of the students who do want to come in and do their work. Because we are such a large population, we realized that there was no perfect solution. The cafeteria, we knew, is open after school, so that certainly could be a place for social gathering.
The policy is that if a student wants to stay after school, we ask you to come to the library anytime from the moment we open at 7:15 through the end of lunch periods, which would be the end of 7th, to sign in to do that. If that's not possible, and we know everybody's got busy schedules, we ask students to come with a pass from any teacher to the library. If announcements come on at the end of 8th period and your club is canceled after school, it's always possible to turn to your teacher and say, hey, could you write me a pass to the library? Students who come not realizing, after school come not realizing that they need a pass, we just say, go find a teacher.
When you enact the new policy, did you have to go through administration and get different people to say yes or no to that? Or were you able to just say, this is our library, we're the staff here, we can decide the rules here? No.
Doesn't work that way.
We do try to keep administration informed. So we spoke to Mr. Fanuelli.
Mr. Carroll.
But I wouldn't say it's a formal process, it's a collegial process.
So it's been 6 months since the new policy was enacted. Do you think it has had a positive impact on the problems that you were having beforehand?
What we found is that students come ready to get their work done, and it is often some of the same students who were coming before who were primarily socializing instead of work. Before, when we had so many people coming in, our staff really had to spend the hour of after school walking around, telling people to be quiet, asking people to leave, asking people to move, disciplining just regularly. That's over. We never wanted people to stop having that relaxed after school time. We just wanted an atmosphere where people can get their work done also.
Have you received any compliments from students or complaints? You said that you had negative feedback. Do you remember specifically any positive or negative things that people have said?
There have been both.
Yes, I think there's been both, and I would say more positive feedback, because the students that are coming in, again, with the focus research, they're coming to work on their global to, annotated citations. They're able to get down to it and not have the distractions and be able to get their work done in that amount of time.
By this point last year, we'd had more than one day when we had to cut off students. Anyone was allowed to come, but if you weren't one of the first 80 or 100 through the door, then you couldn't come in, whether or not you had work to do. And this way, we've never had to turn anyone away.
The atmosphere of the library is more positive than negative, not like, okay, you have to leave because you're being noisy, you're being disruptive. Like Mrs. Miller said, there's not a discipline issue.
The negative aspect definitely at the beginning started in November when there were college applications going on and all kinds of things, and word definitely didn't get out perfectly. And what I'm hearing from you is that we maybe still need to do some work on helping people understand the policy. So I know that students felt, now I can't go to the library, there's everything else on my plate, and now we're not wanted, because that's absolutely not what we were trying to do. And I think even there were a couple of students who maybe said, okay, now I understand what I need, and then came with a pass that an hour after the pass was written for, and we couldn't let them in with that either. That was the negative feedback. And it did seem to come from this idea that now you guys are trying to make our lives harder for reasons we can't understand, which is not what we wanted to do.
And we did have announcements about the new policy broadcast during
Right.
third period in our homeroom. But again,
I remember that, and I remember one of my friends had no idea it was even going to start because just in her classroom, the announcements play, but it's too loud to hear them,
Right,
so she never
sure.
heard of it.
Exactly, and we understand
Yeah,
that
but there's no
completely.
perfect way to tell
No,
everybody in the
again,
school.
there's no perfect, solution.
It seems like it's working very well. Are there things that you are going to change, or do you think that once the word gets out that the way that it is now is working very well for you?
I think that's the change, is really trying to make sure that the word is out.
Right, reinforcing
Um,
the word, I think would be,
Because we
that's
would
a
like
big-
people to understand that we want you guys here.
Right, and the reasons why, the
Yeah.
reasons behind it, that,
Right.
we want to create that atmosphere where you're welcome, and you're also welcome to do your work and to get some help.